You've got to do these two things to be in your power. So many of us outsource our power without even realizing it. It can become the default in our society. And what this looks like is needing something negative to push up against, to feel like, okay, it's me against the world, me against this institution, entity, group of people, whatever it may be. Or there can be this, not desire, but this sort of standard of, okay, I need X amount of external validation of people, places, things telling me that I'm good, that I'm accepted, that what, fill in the blank of the positive thing, the attribute that you would like to have. And if you are not pushing or pulling against or with something, then you may feel lost and feel like, wait, what is my value? What do I stand for? Or even if you know these things, sometimes you can temporarily forget about it because of this dynamic that has been so normalized. So I'm going to let you in on a couple of things that you can decide to let go of right now to drastically increase your sense of personal empowerment. And then one call to action. How does that sound? Okay, let's go. So the first one to let go of is wanting people to celebrate you. So let's say that you are in your community and you are inviting people to things. Maybe you have an area of expertise and you're beginning to be a little bit more visible with it. You're publishing things on LinkedIn or Instagram, and you're not really getting a whole lot of likes, not really getting a whole lot of comments. And as a result, maybe after you post, you wait, okay, where are the likes? Where are the comments? Oh, good, there's one, but I wish there were more. Okay, hold on. So, especially when coming from a place where okay, I have this to offer. This is something of value that I've honed, or maybe it's fun and playful, and you're like, okay, I want to go ahead and try this and see how it goes. The best thing you can do after releasing that from a social media perspective is to walk away, log off, do something else, immerse yourself in other activities, be about, not all about the result, be about what you put out there, and then certainly take steps to measure it and see what works and what doesn't. But this can be such a trap because overnight successes are not overnight. You've heard this before, right? And if you're too reliant upon external validation that you may not get in the early stages as you are fine-tuning your craft or as you're getting more well known by people that can actually really resonate with you, it's just one of those situations where you need to be guided by this inner knowing of, okay, I celebrate this, not just in myself, but in others as a possibility for others if you're in the personal growth space and leading by example. Okay, so the second thing that you got to let go of, if you have not already, is wanting to be rescued. So let's say, this can be from a noun, a person, place, or a thing. Do you feel like all of your troubles would go away if you moved to a different city? If you had a certain product or dressed a certain way, then you know what? Everything would be better. But dang, that thing seems like it's going to take a lot of effort to get to that thing. Or maybe you even make the change and you're like, okay, wherever you go, there you are. This isn't to say I do think environment can be really instrumental in your success, particularly if you are in a somewhat abusive environment. But this is where you get to plug into micro cultures, subcultures within a larger culture. If you're not getting along with, let's say, the general culture, maybe you want to check out my video, Hot versus Cold Climate Cultures, because I talk about how maybe you're more of a natural fit in one versus the other. If you're more of a direct communicator, aka cold climate, or if you're a little softer, then maybe you want to be in a hot climate culture. But yeah, it can feel, I mean, it's one thing to make the change that you know you've needed to make. But it's another thing to not be in a situation that feels adversarial for the sake of building the strength, but to be able to intentionally hone and direct your focus to where you are feeling the best. Not to be confused with where you're getting all the positive reinforcement blindly, but there are certainly spaces that can be more welcoming. And pro tip, if you are putting out what you wish to receive, not for the sake of wishing to receive it, but from a really genuine place that can be reflected back to you in a multitude of ways and environments. And that actually brings us quite naturally to the one thing that you can begin to intentionally do now that you've made the decision to shed those couple things, right? The need to be celebrated and the need to rescue. And that can be a continual process of naming when you have certain thoughts float into your head. Oh, that's something that actually I'm in the process of reframing, or that's actually something that doesn't resonate with me anymore because I made that choice. So, what you get to do next is show up as the version of yourself that is already celebrated and proactively celebrate others that either have qualities that you know you possess that are being reflected and celebrated in the world, and whether it be in your community or the broader community online. And also, taking some risks to put yourself out there and to be sure that if you have a message, instead of trying to put it out there in a way that will cater to a variety of different viewpoints and will be understood by everyone, that's where you lose people. And it's so counterintuitive because you're like, oh, I want to connect with more people. If I just stand for something that no one could really argue with, then that's actually how you end up being sort of lukewarm. Who wants lukewarm milk? I mean, I guess maybe like a baby, right? But we're not catering to babies, okay? So this is more about allowing yourself to be a little hot, a little cold, and to be rooted within yourself while knowing that sometimes opinions and thoughts can change, but to thoughtfully express what is relevant to what you want to be known for and what you want to stand for. It can be really instrumental in celebrating yourself and putting yourself in a position to be celebrated by others. And when this comes from a really deeply rooted place and it's practiced over time, and you're attracting more people that maybe even end up positively reinforcing you more than you ever expected, then we need to be mindful of not outsourcing our confidence, which can happen if there's a lot of positive reinforcement that you're not used to. But it puts you in a space where, the desire to be rescued that may have been present at some point in time gets to diminish and fade into the background because there's this sense of internalized power. Some of it may be borrowed from society, but ultimately having a regular practice of positively reinforcing yourself and being able to see your impact and your leadership with the lives that you touch and the people that you engage with online, in person, is going to put you in a position to be the most empowered version of yourself, which I know many of us in this lifetime, myself included, that's a part of the deal. That is what we signed up for. So if you're resonating with this, I encourage you to stay connected. Email newsletter is linked below. And I'm doing a lot of content lately on human design projectors. So I do have, if you don't know what that is, or you're like, wait, am I that? It's about 20% of the population. You can also check out the link down below as well. Yeah. I'm wondering, did anything stand out to you? Did you get inspired with any other ideas that have helped you ramp up your personal sense of inner power? Go ahead and let us know. And I'm wishing you a beautiful day. Until next time.